Okay, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the late start. I'm going to call the Town of Rochester Town Board August 14th business meeting to order. If you could all stand for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Alba is absent. Councilman Holman is absent. Councilwoman Speaceth? Here. Councilman Wynn?
Here.
Supervisor Now.
I am here. So as everyone can tell, we are a short group tonight. There is unplanned absences, and we do have a board member that needs to leave by a certain amount of time tonight, which means that we would not have a quorum. So what I'm going to do right now is propose an amended agenda. I'm going to rearrange the agenda so that everything that we have to do tonight gets done, and then we will proceed with the agenda as it's printed. So bear with me. I'd like to make a motion that the town board accepts the agenda as prepared by the town supervisor with the following amendments. Preceding the financial report, we will do resolutions A, B, C, D, E, G, so not F, I, J, K, L, and L. We'll be tabling resolutions F, H, and M. Then we will be proceeding with the agenda as it's printed, but we will be adjourning in about an hour. So we'll get through what we can, but we need to pass all those resolutions, particularly the bills. So, but
I second that resolution, that motion.
yes, great, thank you. Sorry. Any more discussion?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay, sorry about that, I was rambling. So we're now looking at the resolution.
Oh, I have one.
Okay, good. So I'll make a motion that the town board accepts and approves the minutes of the July 10th business meeting. The July should be 15th special meeting, and the July 24th workshop meeting as circulated by the town clerk.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. So I'll make a motion that the town board accepts the donations received for town purposes as presented, with appreciation to the donors for their contributions. So we have $30 to the summer program from Audrey Denon, $245 for the bus trip garden tour, and $124.18 from St. Polly's Textile.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Sorry, who did you say the garden for was from?
I think it's just various.
Oh,
It's
just various,
various.
just
It was
towards
the
that.
cat, it was collected at the garden tour, I think.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Oh, and just a reminder, because there's just three of us, in order to pass a resolution, we need all three ayes. So just as a reminder. Okay, so bear with me because I forgot to write down the totals for the abstracts. And I need to get the prepaid totals, so just give me 1 second.
Shall I read resolution D on your agenda?
Oh, I'm totally good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we accept the funding of acceptance of funding futures grant award. The town board accepts the funding futures grant award in the amount of $22,750 to be dispersed in 2 installments in August 2025 and January 2026, which names Heather Urquhart as the funding futures fellow and will be used in support of climate smart task force initiatives through a training program designed to support the Funding Futures Fellow lead community conversations and build consensus for community-defined environmental priorities.
Second,
Any discussion?
I just have a quick question about it. For the 2 installments, I'm happy to accept the award. I'm just wondering what our follow-up looks like for it.
Yeah.
For paperwork, does it seem very heavy or just like reporting back for each funding?
They do, yeah, so it's, that Heather will be doing the deliverables for that.
Okay.
And it's not reimbursement. So the first half will be sent at the end of this month.
Mhm.
And then the second half will be January 2026. So it's supposed to match the expenditures. So ahead of the expenditures, it'll come in ahead of
Each
it.
semester.
Yeah.
Almost.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, that I understand, so, but as far as any follow-up, that's on Heather.
Yeah,
the
yes.
Trainee in the
Yes.
program that is our sponsor of the fellowship, our person.
Yes, and she'll be submitting the program budget to us in a couple weeks after she's reviewed it with them and.
Okay, cool, and I just wanna make sure when she does follow up that we.
Yes, I'll be,
succeed on it.
yeah, I will be sharing all of those materials. Yeah. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay, so returning to resolution C. Acceptance of abstract 8A 2025. The town of Rochester Town Board accepts the 8A 2025 abstract and approves the payments in the following amounts. So for general fund, it's $33,253.62 of unpaid and $556.50 in prepays. For the highway fund, it is $115,921.98. Escrow is $854.96. And street lighting is $271.08.
0 for capital.
And 0 for capital.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. Thank you to Charlotte for coming in last minute because we had a cancellation. So moving on to the budget modification. So I do have to do a couple more when I was going over the financials. Just I will read these into the record, but this is what I need to add to the general fund. In addition to what's listed on the agenda. So this is to. So I'll go ahead and make the motion that the town board approves the following budget modifications to the 2025 general fund budget. So the first is an increase to revenue code A2770 unclassified revenue, which is the Funding Futures grant, by $11,750. And to create and fund expense code 8710.44 conservation professional and technical climate smart in the amount of $11,750 for program related expenses. Then we will be modifying budget code 8664.114, which is the building and code enforcement fire inspector, with a starting amount of $20,280, and we'll be decreasing that line by $14,000. Then we will be increasing budget code 1220.448, which is the didn't take a note of that. I forget the actual name of that, but that's our accountant. In that budget code, we'll be increasing that by $2,000. Budget code 8020.452, which is planning software, will be increasing that by $2,000. And I forgot to write down the budget code. Like 1 4 something. Actually.
Nothing knowing you have it memorized.
No, I don't have them memorized. I wish I did.
Profit loss
close.
I don't know the 3-digit.
Do you have a profit loss?
No, I haven't been printing them out.
Number?
And my computer's
It's like my PLC.
You would just go to this account
Should we
description.
do with the,
I think so.
I think we
It's
have it.
attorney planning board.
yes,
We will be increasing that by $10,000. So that's a net zero. Except for the grant award, which is increasing revenue and increasing expenditures, this is just balanced.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Great. So we are skipping the highway fund budget modification. And moving on to G, which is the consultant selection for the Sundown Culvert replacement project. So the town board of the town of Rochester tentatively designates Tectonic Engineering to perform services, including preliminary design, detailed design, right-of-way incidental, right-of-way acquisition and construction support and construction inspection for the locally administered federal aid transportation project, Sundown Culvert Replacement, PIN 8763.75, located in Cohonson, Ulster County, New York. This designation is contingent upon receipt of proof of authority from the firm and any sub-consultants or partners as applicable to practice engineering or surveying in the state of New York as required by the New York State DOT. The town board further authorizes the town supervisor to commence contract negotiations with selected firm.
second,
Any discussion? So we followed the state DOT selection process where we sent a request for qualifications to their approved list and scored those and interviewed based on the responses. So the selection committee performed that, and this was our recommendation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Did I say we're skipping H and I?
You just skipped H.
Okay, well, we are skipping
Aye.
Aye.
table and I.
J.
Right.
hmm?
I'll read it. The
Okay.
town board, I move that the town board authorizes the supervisor to sign a contract with Centauri's Fireworks for the Heritage Day celebration on October 4, 2025, in the amount of $5,000 with the deposit included in the abstract 8A-2025.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. It's getting,
I know.
I can't believe the year is going by so fast.
Mhm.
Want me to do K2?
Yes.
I move that the town board approves the addition of electronic storage capacity to the DocuWare contract with Toshiba to accommodate increased record keeping needs as presented.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed, abstained, motion carries.
I move
Oh.
the town board reappoints
Jeremy Baraka,
Jeremy Baraka as sole assessor for a 6-year term commencing October 1, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2031, contingent upon the appointee maintaining required certification under New York State real property tax law. The town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all required appointment documents with the New York State Office of Real Property Tax Services at Ulster County.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain?
Yay.
We have a very dedicated assessor
Yes, yeah.
and we're very happy to do that reappointment. Great. Okay, so now we are, how are we doing on time? Now we are moving on back to the start of the agenda, so I will read off, I didn't print this in the agenda, but I have the numbers. So the July financial report, which I submitted digitally, and I did post some financial reports in the public folder that we have. General fund revenue for the month of July was $89,120.72. Highway fund, $59,420.44. Expenditures, general fund, $310,060.90. Highway fund, $99,516.35. Capital fund expenditures were zero, street lighting fund, $427.21. Ambulance fund, $54,917.50. I'm just reading those. But I'm so glad that you're ready. So I don't have, other than what we had included in the discussion, I didn't have a huge specific supervisor's report. I've been saying this for the past few weeks, but it's the start of budget season. I had a long meeting with our accountant this morning, which is why we did the budget modification, because I'm working with our accountant to prepare for next year. For this year and next year's annual financial report. And I'm excited to get all the requests to the departments this year. That's a really fun, I think it's a fun process, stressful in the end, but the first part is not as stressful. The progress report on the town park bathroom. It looks like in 2 weeks' time, most of the construction will be concluded. After the summer program ends, that's when the concrete pathways will be installed, just so we're missing that activity. It's wet cement is very tempting and we wanna not tempt. We are moving along with the Voicemill Bridge timeline that's proposed. So we are working on the acquisitions for that. And the goal for that is to do the letting in the fall. So that is the request for bids. The construction is still scheduled to begin next spring and go through the end of September. We found out with the resolutions, the Sundown Culvert, we're moving forward with that project. And we'll be offering and negotiating the consultant selection with the firm that we selected. We're still working on that process for the Project 32 bridge that we received the grant funding for. Kate, town clerk tax collector report.
For the month of July, $54,868.11 were collected. For the town clerk, I have nothing to report on tax collector other than it's been 100% satisfied. Everything's been turned over to the town supervisor. We're continuing to go through our files and clear out closets and get rid of documents that we're able to destroy based on our ME1 schedule. So that's one of the things we're working on this summer. And this fall, I'd like to start tackling this shed out here. And that's really all I have to report right now.
So
How are those destroyed?
Right now, shredded, yeah,
Do you shred it or do you have
Yeah.
service?
no, we shredded,
But we can do a service for the big.
yeah,
Stuff.
Yeah.
we need to,
What we
because we have probably 80 years worth of documents that could, there's things that could be destroyed.
And thank you for, Kate has been consulting with all the departments because we're trying to get things in order. So the highway department sent me a report. So highway superintendent Jeff Fry is back. And so this report was prepared with our secretary, deputy, and Jeff. The Queens Highway Bridge should be opening up tomorrow in the afternoon. Rustic Roots was able to complete the culvert replacement ahead of schedule. They did a great job. Majority of chips was submitted in the amount of $342,313.90. Next submission is in November. The remainder of the permanent improvements not submitted will be submitted then. We have 2 trucks out for service at Allegiance Trucking being fixed. Our tractor is at Westchester Tractor being worked on. The end of September, we will be putting in an order for 2 trucks. Will reflect 2026 budget. Mini bid, small truck, contract, or dump truck. So we'll definitely have to look at that before they put the order in.
Do we have a capital equipment list and useful lifetime?
We have, this is a great question, Councilman Wynn. We do not, there is not, this is one of my, I guess I could report on things like this in the supervisor's report. This is one of my projects that I'm working on right now. Is doing this for all of our equipment. We do have to submit equipment lists for both insurance and for the annual financial report, but we don't have what you're talking about. And so I am developing that right now for everything that's over $2,000, which is what the threshold is to be included as an asset. So my clerk and our buildings and maintenance staff member drove around to all the buildings and made a equipment list of all the like service equipment. Because we don't, that plus our vehicle equipment. We have a detailed list of all the legal things we need, but there isn't a schedule. And so I think there's a perhaps like a list of like what is gonna need to be replaced and retired, but it doesn't exist
Okay,
in a form, if that makes sense.
but it's in progress.
Yes, but this is something like in order for there to be an order put in, the board has to approve that because we're committing to the allocation of funds in the 2026 budget, which hasn't been published yet. So, sweeper truck for 2026 year is on hold for April 2026, so that we lease the sweeper truck. Oil and chip upcoming projects. Clay Hill, Sampsonville to the town line. Medicons Road, 209 to First Bridge. 209 to First Bridge, okay. Lang Road, Van Tyne Road off of Queens Highway. So I can send this to you. You're good at it. Okay, so that was ahead of the meeting, that was all I'd gotten for the department reports, but I can save some time at our next meeting if we have more to report on for departments. So we have board and committee reports. Usually Councilwoman Alba goes first. I can just share that 2 things that I'm aware of. The Climate Smart Task Force has been doing a fantastic job of starting to compile what we need to submit for bronze status. So they're starting to work with staff coordinated through me to do items that relate to buildings. And one thing that we're actually going to be doing is converting to LED lighting. And it looks like we get support for that, so the cost to the town will be very low. And then the Environmental Conservation Commission reached out to me about putting in more pollinator gardens in front of the town hall. So it looks like we'll be completing that native planting project that starts at the corner and doing that across the front, which I'm very excited about. It'll be good to get those bushes, those shrubs, removed.
Are-
And
Are there any plans to get down the tree?
yes, actually, when I approached the highway department about helping with the removal, they said, can we please take the dead tree down? And I said, yes.
The tree I wanted to put Christmas lights on last year.
Yes. So I had those two. Charlotte.
Nice. Alright, so I'm just gonna go over that was, for the elder care report. They had several welfare visits, on the hot days this past month, as well as June new participants from EMS Hall sign up. Some very grateful folks. For us checking on them, so thank you to our constables to do those checks. And the housing committee, has not met since I reported on them last, because I reported late last month, And for the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board, we have yet to form them still again for the senior.
Oh, I'll
The
take
youth and
that.
senior. Recreation.
Senior and
Thank
youth.
you. God, we need to change that name. Recreation Commission. Their report is that the town of Rochester. Recreation Department is still taking registration for the AARP Safe Driving Course that will take place on Monday. August 18th at the community center. Call the department to get on the list. Summer program will be ending on August 22nd this year. We want to thank our wonderful staff for making it an affordable summer or an unforgettable summer. Thank you, Mary Ann Gates, Sheila Brown, Veronica Schwank, Jen Winecoop, Lacey Freer, Brody Baker, Sophia Bolin, Samantha Riddick, Brooke Mokowski, thank you. I was like, I have lost words. Also thank you to our bus driver, Gary Palmer, for always getting us to where we are needed to go safely. Registration for the town of Rochester after school summer program will be given on Monday, August 25th. Call 845-626-2115 for more information. Children must attend the Roundout Valley Central School District to attend. The Recreation Department would like to remind the public that Heritage Day is rapidly approaching, and we will be doing our annual pie contest during the event on Saturday, October 4th. Call now to sign up. There will be youth and adult categories as well as cash prizes for the winners.
Great. Councilman Coleman's absent. I know I'm sure he'll want to report at our next meeting. There's been a lot of work happening with the planning board with the launch of our new application software. And a lot of coordination going through that. I know he's also been busy with the Ambulance Improvement District Advisory Committee, coordinating between requests from the committee for financial records. So I know I just got invited to a meeting next week regarding that. And also we are looking at the districts. There's been some requests to adjust the districts. And depending on what we find with the data, that might be a local law amendment that we bring to the board at the next meeting. Kate?
Sure. As far as historian, I, for the last couple of years, have been trying to work on this project of listing all of our elected officials from like the beginning of time. Like all of our supervisors, all our town clerks and highway superintendent, town board and judges. I finally just finished supervisor, so I just want to share a fun fact that Our current supervisor is our 77th supervisor in the town of Rochester,
Wow.
and the second female to serve in the position, so I found that pretty fun. The HPC did go to the locations that they were requested by the planning board for any historic comments, and they have submitted that to the planning board. They did 2 site visits. They also have been going to a couple locations to decide on who they'll be giving their preservation awards to this year at Heritage Day. So I do know on Monday they're going to one more location on that, and then they'll make their decision. And they're continuing to move forward with updating their reconnaissance survey, which is great because they're driving around and updating historic properties, whether the fact the building's there any longer or not there. And that hasn't been done since 2008. So they continue to do that as well. So they're very busy.
Councilman Nguyen, do you have anything to report from the court?
I don't.
Okay. Right, so moving along, it is now time for our public comment portion of the meeting where we invite members of the public to attend our meeting and comment in person or virtually. We ask that person speaking to the board address their remarks to the board. And also know that we do not respond to questions or comments made during the session. However, we may choose to respond in the next agenda item, which is called town board member time, should a board member wish. So we always tell people to stick around because they might have a question or concern answered at that time. So I will open up the public comment portion of the meeting. Is there anyone here who'd like to address the board? Barbara.
They have to excuse the fact that the only way I could figure out how to do this was to send an email to myself. And then print it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll give you some copies for people who are
Yep.
on here. Well. So I am here tonight to give a big kudos to the highway department during the 8 or 9 months that Deputy Highway Superintendent Jared Gunberg was in charge. I contacted Secretary Jessica Boughton and was greeted with a very pleasant, concerned, attentive demeanor. I wrote a letter of concern of extreme amount of water coming down Metacons Road earlier in the year and out of the Bell Mine traversing down Boodle Hole Road, undermining the side of the road, the end of my driveway, and going down further, entering my neighbor's driveway, continuing down the driveway, creating extensive ponding. The water flow was so intense, it spewed gravel and dirt across the road at some point. This has been happening for several years, especially when we have a lot of heavy downpours of rain. The severe erosion was evident. Deputy Highway Superintendent Jared Gunberg got on it right away. He was very punctual, listened to my observations, and after speaking to Mr. Bell and myself, came up with a plan along with, he only told me his name was Mr. Fix-It, to alleviate the problem. Mr. Gunberg routinely came back after a heavy rain to observe if the plan worked, which it did. The crew returned to repair the side of the road and the end of my driveway. I was so pleased to tell them that it was the most efficient job by the highway department that I have seen in the 35 years I've lived here. Jessica Boughton even responded through email to keep me updated on the situation. Very efficient. It would be nice if I saw Jared Gunberg as our highway superintendent one day. So it was amazing. It was amazing when Jared and Mr. Fix-It, they came up, they went, oh, they're cleaning the guardrail, put a swale there, boom, boom, bing, bang, and it was all. So I wanted to come back and get food. So tell your husband.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board tonight? Okay, so I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. Town board member time.
I just wanted to say thank you for the positive feedback. We don't always get that about all of our employees or about any issues in town, so it's nice to hear. So just thank you for bringing it, because we like to hear all kinds, but it's nice to hear the positive, nice.
I always like to give it when it's well deserved.
I'd also like to mirror our thanks to Jared for stepping in during the superintendent's absence. He's done an incredible job
Yes,
in very difficult circumstances.
yes,
Seconds to that.
yeah. Great, okay. I'm trying to think about what,
One thing can I bring up?
yeah,
Because we're gonna have to order them, is transitioning to $10 transportation
Oh.
cards.
I had that on the agenda, shoot,
Yeah,
I don't know what I did with that.
right. Because we do have to order them within the next week or two.
Okay.
So that's what we're gonna do.
Thank you for reminding me of that, Kate. I know what I did. I wrote that resolution. And I don't know where it went. Okay, so I did have. So what Kate is bringing up, so this is the color of paper that we use for the punch cards. They are no longer have that, and so we have to change the color, right?
Mhm.
And Kate wanted to take this as an opportunity to make the punch cards a $10 punch card with the same number, with the same cost of a punch, but instead of 4, there will be 5, and the math will
You
be
don't have
easier.
$20 bills for change in the office.
So what I wanted to do, I had a resolution. So I think just so they can order those, I wanted to make a motion to amend our fee schedule. To include a $10 punch card that has the $2 punches on it. So we kind of have to have both because we're still selling some of them, but we want to,
We need to amend the fee schedule if the cost per punch is
it's
unchanged.
listed as $8 on the fee schedule.
Right.
Why don't we delete the $8 reference and make it $2 per punch? That frees Kate to issue cards in any denomination.
Well, the only issue is we don't sell $2 punches.
Right, they're sold in one card at $8 a piece now, so the idea is
We
to
give her
go.
discretion to determine, so say she wants to do a $20 punch in the future.
Yeah, if we say a card with $2 punches, that
Yeah.
might be, place, but
$2 punches in denominations is determined by the town court, at her discretion.
I think also we can just
Second is-
add a $10 punch, because we don't ever change it, really.
Right. I mean, it
Right,
hasn't changed in probably 15 years.
yeah,
I remember last.
Yeah.
thing.
yeah, there's always
So,
been 4.
Can we just do a motion on the fly to?
Yeah.
Add, okay, so I'd like to make a motion. That the town of Rochester Town Board. Amend our. Transfer station fee schedule. To include a $10 punch card. Option.
I think it's with a consistent with a unchanged price of $2 per punch.
As Sally said, and or I guess we can vote on that and then authorize you to order them, or can I do that all?
And I think phase out the $8
And-
cards when they're done.
Yes, and to. No longer. And to authorize the supervisor to order said $10 punch cards. To order, the clerk to order said punch cards. And to
We'll phase out
phase
the
out the
$8
punch
option
cards and
when
not to
they,
renew.
when they
Not
are.
to, not to reorder any $8 punch cards.
Perfect. Second.
Yes.
Fairly's gonna hate me.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Okay,
Kate, do those have serial numbers on?
yes. Okay, so we did all of the resolutions.
I was gonna say you.
Were there any discussion items that,
I don't think that I don't think there's anything that was pressing. Before the next meeting I had to comment on, I did just wanna volunteer to help with the budget committee.
Okay.
If we need anyone else on it,
yeah,
I wasn't sure if you guys had already selected since I missed.
no, I haven't done that. So that's what was sort of, I do like to use our workshop meeting for workshop and our business meeting for business, but I might wanna put that budget committee together and bring that to the board at the workshop meeting, because the tentative budget is due September 30th. So it would be nice to have that committee in place for the month of September. I am behind on the short-term rental cap referrals. I didn't do those. I'm just admitting
I
my
have till
weakness.
November anyway, though.
We do have till November, but we do want to set the cap before that, so I'm going to put those referrals out, but we really need to be making that decision early September. I know you can, but we did want to refer.
No,
them
I
of
wanna
it.
hear the other committees, and I don't wanna do that without. Members here.
I did want to have a conversation about infrastructure improvements and the budget, just ahead while we're in budget season, so the way the budget season works is the budget officer sends department requests. And departments have a month basically to respond, but that it happens with meetings. It's not like I receive a bunch of papers and then we never talk again. We usually review those requests with the departments. There are budget lines, big budget lines that aren't really a department. So there's not like staff or, there's not like someone who's going to advocate for something, so that falls on me and it falls on the board and to a certain extent, the full staff. So, that's something that I'm going to want to workshop quite a bit. It might not seem so much like we're working on the budget, but all the decisions we make will need to be reflected, being reflected in the budget. There are some other things that we haven't ever done that we could do, but they are a little bit more complicated. So for the capital improvements that we need to make, it would probably be good to do a reserve fund. But in order to do that, you either have to put the reserve fund, it's a subject to referendum, or the board makes a general reserve fund, but then if you're going to spend anything out of that,
Then you have to do that.
but we would have to do that anyway, because then over a certain expenditure, it has to do that. So there's just some things that require a lot of planning around infrastructure improvements that I would like to spend the next couple of months really digging into and thinking about. And what the hardest part is going to be prioritizing, I think. Also just alerting the board, we do have a ban in our budget as a revenue line. That is to help cover the to spread out the expenditure of the reval. So, but I'm waiting until the last possible minute to take that out. So I'll be working with the advisors that we have on that to get an idea. I'll be planning that out, but it usually is about a month process. So I'll need to come to the board probably about a month before we're actually executing that loan. And
Do we have any bans outstanding now?
no,
No.
we don't have any debt right now. But this would be one that we wouldn't be, typically a ban is if you know the revenue is coming and you just have a shortfall of cash. But in order to if it's less than 5 years, my understanding is you want to do a ban and then extend it for a year. And so we can do that and just spread the expense out over a few years rather than fronting
Right.
that to the taxpayers in a single hit.
Okay.
Um,
That's the rough estimate of how much that'll cost.
It's $250,000 is what we budgeted. So it's not a huge amount, and the goal, we would be paying it off. We would probably be cutting the expenditure over, not a couple
Yes, yeah,
years.
Yeah, we can just kind of
Yeah,
phase it out.
Um,
if we can.
it just, so,
Yeah, that makes more sense. We don't have the general fund balance to be able to support the project and not have it affect every year's budget until we pay it off, so.
right, and we're running the risk of our fund balance going below
Right.
the
Do you
recommended.
know what our bond cap is with the town?
That's a good question. I actually don't know the cap.
And how often do we do a revale?
Well, the town, so the goal, the plan that we have in place is, I'm trying to remember, Jeremy has put this in writing. I can produce his plan, but that usually we would want to do this to, if things have gotten way out of balance. But the goal is after this reval, that it's going to be maintained so that future revals can be done in-house. Which is how they've always been done. Has the town ever had a firm do that?
2012, we had a consultant help, but it was $12,000, so it wasn't a huge.
It wasn't every single parcel,
No.
yeah. So I don't think we've ever had an outside firm do every single parcel.
Okay.
But it is not, this type of expenditure is not something for that specific thing that we are planning on doing in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember from just government accounting perspective, there are like best practices for how your limit on a bond. And I just don't have that at the top of my head.
And in the ban, is there a prepayment penalty?
Not necessarily. No, I think it depends on what you're getting, but we've definitely paid them off ahead of schedule before.
I was gonna say,
Without a
we paid at least
penalty.
all the ones that we've paid off. I think there's 3, maybe 4 that we paid off my first 2 years, and they were all early,
Yeah, and there was no penalty.
and there was no penalty on them. Cause I remember asking that, I was like, whatever.
Usually there's a burn off period where
There is, and I'm trying to, the last real conversation I had was, last November, so I'm just not remembering. I know there are different, we can shop around,
I made a jump spot.
huh?
I didn't mean to put you. on-
No, it's okay. I like revealing things that I don't know, and being able to get those answers to you guys, because it's good. The Association of Towns is hosting a free, grant workshop on August 27th that I signed up myself and my clerk for, so we're gonna be attending that. It's free and we can go because we're members. And they have a grant assistance program. They call it GAP, which is very confusing to me because there's GAP in like 3 other things that I'm involved in. But it's grant assistance program, and there's a consultant hosting, and there's free 15-minute consulting sessions. So they also have a list. They're going to be providing a huge list of grants and have this program to help with applications and all of that stuff. So we're excited to go.
Is there a cap on how many people can go?
They did not say what it was. They said sign up because we'll be capping it. Yeah, I was gonna reach out to her and see if she wanted to go, or you. I was gonna see it either one.
You said the 27th.
Yeah, it's like during the workday.
On Wednesday.
Look, I wanna say I have
It's a
some.
really good day. Over there.
Oh, is it?
I was
Oh,
hoping
it's
that
the
you
day
were
before my
something for
sister's
this.
birthday, yeah.
I think I have a tape at your Office of the Aging I have to be at that day, but if not, I just took like 3 different grant seminars.
Yeah,
Skip it this time, but I do wanna take the Association of Town ones, that's like the town specific workshop.
Yeah, and there's another, so from that, I'm thinking about. They're doing the school next year, so it all kind of depends on. You know, who's in office, but that registration opens. And I think we should go to that. We haven't gone
Yeah.
since I've been on the board because COVID and it went virtual. And then I think the last time they had it, we didn't go. But I want to make sure that we budget for that and go. I think it's really, really useful and rewarding. And that's in February. They're also doing a planning and zoning school in Kingston in October. The first session is on public records. And I'll be registering myself. There'll be 2 planning board members and we'll have a staff member attend. Councilman Coleman is the liaison, so he had requested to join too. So that's a half day. There is a fee for that, but we do have the funds budgeted in all the different departments for that, so. So we're at 7:30.
If you want to do like
A quick,
a quick executive session,
Yeah.
I can do
Okay.
another like 10 minutes. So we
Okay.
can get that, so I don't want to miss that, make that wait.
great,
I can stick to those few minutes.
okay,
I make a motion to enter executive session at 7:29 PM for the purposes. Matters leading to the discipline or removal of particular persons.
Second.
all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
opposed, abstained, motion carries. We have other stuff in there too.
Now we're put in the paper, I mean, meeting, same thing, discipline and removal.
It might not be the same person each time.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
A lot of,
No, I'm